Welcome to Equal Time Soccer. I'm Matt Prabratsky alongside Mark, our NSIC specialist, and we are doing a live watch along because there is an all Minnesota matchup in the NCAA tournament. St. Cloud facing off against BSU. And who else to help us take a look at the opening of this one than the legend, Christy Kopietz, up north, up from Mark and my soccer playing territory. Christy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I don't know about legend, but I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
We'll talk about the Crookston goals. Yeah, but no, Christy, talk about the St. Cloud was obviously surprised, but just talk to us. We watched a lot of the tournament because we were calling it, but I didn't watch a ton of games throughout the season. Just what about the conference? Was there anything, trending different for you, or how was it different for you to navigate the conference this year as a coach?
I don't really think St. Cloud's kind of a surprise. I know that's kind of the first thing that you said, but Greta has always been like kind of a wizard with her tactics and the way that she rotates players in. And it's always been really difficult, in my opinion, to defend and to kind of sort out. So it's not surprising to me that they're having a good season. The conference was really pretty even. And I think on any given day, anybody could have beat teams, which, it just felt a little bit more like everybody was in the middle instead of like a clear top and a clear bottom. And you can see that in the results. There's a lot of ties. There's a lot of what you might classify as upsets. So I don't know. It just kind of felt pretty even for the whole season.
Yeah. Was there something different about Bemidji? It seemed like, they still had a decent record, but they had a lot of like ties and a lot of like, really close wins. So it looked like on paper, maybe they weren't in the same rhythm. I mean, they lost a ton of senior players, right?
Nine,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really hard when you lose that core senior leadership, because also if you think about having 9 probably pretty dominant players, and then the class below them maybe doesn't have as many leadership opportunities because of such a large class above them. Yeah. I mean, they're always going to be talented. Jim does a really excellent job there. And, he really has a clear picture of what he's trying to accomplish with the program. But yeah, I definitely felt like they were a little bit down. They didn't have as much individual like firepower, I guess. But returning Hodney, I thought was, I don't believe she played last year. I think she might have been injured. And I think she really had a big impact, at least when we played them. And she's from Moorhead, so I'll be watching her for sure.
Oh, nice. Go Spuds.
You mentioned this year being it feeling so even, and there's like a single day I kept mentioning during the broadcasts, because as standings were starting to settle and everyone's like competing for like the 1 point, and the standings are so tight. It was, and I just pulled it up. It was Sunday, October 22nd. It was like every single top seeded team took a hit. So you all, took out Mankato. St. Cloud fell to Southwest, and Southwest played a big role in Bemidji's story, by the way. Southwest winning on like that last day helped knock Augie down, so Bemidji got to host or something. So Southwest still is owed a fruit basket, by the way, Jim, if you haven't sent them a fruit basket. And then like St. Cloud dropped a game, Bemidji dropped a game to Wayne on this day. Like that day encapsulated the NSIC to me, where it's like, you better not take a game for granted, because all these teams can play. And it's like, you might see them on the quote unquote bottom of the table, but like these teams can play.
Yeah. I think we really helped St. Cloud also with that win, because then Mankato couldn't jump them in the table.
Right. So you're owed a fruit basket. So
Greta, come on.
Get Christy a fruit basket, or get her a large chunk of granite.
Yeah.
Large chunk of granite. Get her something for the kids. Get her something for Otto and Olive. How are the kids doing, Christy? Otto and
I am
Olive.
so impressed you remembered their names.
I, of course, did not, and I read it on the website. I
absolutely
did not.
Okay. Well, at least you're a seller. They're really good. They're 3 and 4 now, so they're just not really loving the colder weather, but we'll adjust. So
not until there's snow to play in. Yeah. Did they?
Yeah.
Are they in the game? They kicking the ball around? What's up with that?
We kick around like a massive bouncy ball. We're not quite at soccer ball yet, but whenever Otto comes to the games at the end, he likes to run around and kick the balls with the players, but not so much with me. So
Yeah, well, that's fine. You let him
Yeah.
find his way to the game.
Yeah.
That's great touch development to have him start with a bouncy ball. Wow, he's going to be like a Brazilian kid or something.
I don't know.
That
It's
is-
pretty big.
Christy, you don't need to feel guilty about that. Every time I'm at games in person, that is the standard thing. Like the kids of coaches, the players are like their heroes because it's like getting to watch. It would be like if we got to go watch a random pro team. You know, you're seeing these like, oh, these to them like big kids and big, you know, adults like playing so cool. So they're always it's at every game I go to, that's the coach's kid is like obsessed with the players for sure.
Yeah, they have their like players that are their favorites, but oddly enough, like they won't actually speak to those players when we're at soccer, but they talk about them. I mean, nonstop outside of it.
That's cute.
It's pretty
I
cute.
love it. The players competing for the attention. Look, when toddlers are around, adults they want to be liked.
Yeah.
I'm curious, they're about to kick off. When you watch like NSIC teams in the tournament, like it's been a lot of BSU and Mankato, and it's kind of interesting because all season you do want nothing but to beat Minnesota State, Mankato, and Bemidji. But then like you want the conference to show out. Like, does it switch? I'm sure it's still mixed a little bit of like rooting for them, right?
Yeah, it is kind of a mentality switch, and it's not easy, I don't think, but it does bring the conference notoriety. So I've known Jim a long time. He was the coach when I played, so I've known him for many years.
Shots fired, Jim. Shots fired.
Greta's a really good friend of mine. So I don't know. I'm more like rooting for them. I think about it that way instead of like the programs.
Yeah,
Right.
You guys. Well, there is a certain amount of camaraderie there must be when you are all in these jobs so long. So many of you, like you're at meetings, you're talking, you're doing everything together.
Yep, and Greta's a mom as well, so that's nice to have that ability to connect about what it's like to be a head coach with a young child.
Totally.
So I really appreciate her and Sarah Cook also. We talk and Brittany Domino. We've talked a lot about those things as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is for.
Oh, here we go.
We're underway here. St. Cloud is in the white. If people aren't tracking, Bemidji in those dark. Actually, it might just be black. Yeah, for those who didn't watch the matchup in the NSIC tournament, the thing I would say to track is, St. Cloud wants to pass and they want to possess, but Bemidji is so disciplined that they sort of, if Bemidji can score first, they're going to be really, really, really hard to beat. Because once they scored on St. Cloud, they can just keep disciplined shape and just let you get pissed off. I mean, they were so good at just making St. Cloud scramble. And so who scores first? That sounds really, really elementary to say that matters so much, but like it really will matter because both these teams keep solid shape. So it's like, watch that for sure.
Bemidji's going after him.
They are. That's a pretty fast start for them.
Yeah, they are. Playing on it looks like decent grass. We were kind of talking before. It's hard. It looks like maybe it was catching some bumps, but both the teams normally play in football stadiums with turf. So.
Yeah, it would be interesting to go back and see how they did on grass, just out of curiosity.
Right. Yeah, neither team. St. Cloud does have, like, they do get little, like, speedy runs down the wing once in a while. So there is kind of a difference with that. Yeah, like, we talked, I think we mentioned before we went on air, like, we might as well, like, their winger Primerano, who's just really quick and really dangerous. Talk about, like, planning for her. Christy, you don't have to give away the whole game plan, but talk about planning for matching up with her.
Yeah, so not only is she a talented soccer player and she has quickness and pace and she's good off the dribble, but she's very feisty. And I don't know if she talks or not to the defender, but I know that one of my players was very frustrated playing against her last year because she's just chippy, and that on repeat is hard to deal with when you're defending her. So I just tasked one player with trying to shut her down, and she did a really excellent job, especially in our non-conference game against her. But she just keeps going,
Yeah.
Like she doesn't give up. She doesn't quit. She has good endurance.
That opening round game against Duluth was like a great snapshot of everything you just said. Like she, for 90 straight minutes, which is insane for a frontline player, like to go 90 minutes as a winger is ridiculous. Like that's, frankly, it's like basically unheard of. Like that just does not happen. Bemidji over in the corner, trying to turn. No, she got it. She got it.
Way, tough year, Christy, to have to play St. Cloud twice too. That's
right.
Tough
Well, and Primorano in that opening game, just 90 minutes nonstop, also tracked back on defense, which I couldn't believe. But UMD did exactly what you said, Christy. Most of the time they just put Haugen on her, and Haugen is such a good athlete at outside back that Primorano was getting super fired up, but just never quit. And she didn't score, she didn't get an assist, but she was just so much gravity because she just like never stopped.
Yeah. I think their midfielder number 8 for St. Cloud is also just exceptional.
Oh, she's really Brooke.
Yeah.
She's from the South Burbs down in like Lakeville, Savage area, and only a sophomore too, which is just ridiculous.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
She really drives forward. Like she loves to like right through the middle as like a classic 8 and then make she loves
that's her right there.
Right there. She has, I think, like a top bun and a cast on her left hand if people want to track her right there trying to challenge the ball. And even their holding mid, St. Cloud's holding mid is like a freshman from Nebraska. Olson was just like got everything out of the air like the entire game against Duluth. And I was like, what the hell? Like just this random like freshman holding midfielder was just so absurdly consistent. And I was like, you can't have a freshman holding midfielder. Like that's such a cheat. Like you like to have someone who can start at holding mid. Like that's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
How about looking to next year, Christy? How do you feel about the players you have coming back and recruits and thinking, because you're kind of probably already switched mindset fully to next year.
Yeah, I'm really trying to get a couple mid-semester transfers. We graduated 10, so
it's a lot.
Yeah, I have a plan, with the players I currently have, so I'm not concerned about it, but I would really like to add a couple at semester just to get acclimated and have a little bit more experience.
Well, speaking of that, what's the portal look like in terms of do you see some players already? I know it was basically like 2 days ago or like several days ago when it opened. Do you see Bemidji over the top? Some danger.
Ooh.
Whoa.
They got it. That was near post.
Over the back line. We might not have replay on this, but it looked like nice ball over the top. Not sure who sent it. Actually, I'll check the live stats to see who gets credited with that. Really nice finish. That's brutal. That's really tough. First 5 minutes.
Especially, after what you said about them scoring first.
They're just
and they're like peaking at the right time. They seem like fully cliched, like the team that got it together exactly the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they know what it's like to be in this position, and obviously St. Cloud does not. And
right.
They've done so well this year, but there is something to be said for this isn't unusual for Bemidji.
And that tournament experience feels so real because it feels like from the outside you have to sort of do each stage one by one, like get to the tournament, experience it. Then all these young players we praise for St. Cloud have that experience. Then next year they're less shook. So it looks like Hilsnitz gets the assist. So all the way from the back line, which is crazy, sends it over the top. Sylvie Waters, for those who are watching the game, number 4 for Bemidji, really good athlete, was super, super active during the tournament. So she gets the goal. What a huge, oh my gosh. Crazy play.
That's a huge change in the game because now you got to make the choice to either push, now to try to get one back before the half or to maybe like stick with your original game plan.
They really even till the end of the game. I mean, I don't know if it was in context, like they knew they were in the NCAA they knew they were probably going to make the NCAAs, and so they didn't get reckless about it. But they didn't change much at all when they were even like the last 5 minutes. I thought, I'm like, oh, well, the outside backs just go up kind of as wingers or whatever. Not really. They just stayed put. So it is, like they'll only get a couple chances probably.
And it's worth noting too that comparing these two programs, it's about as different as you could get rotation wise. So St. Cloud plays very, very tight. Oh, Bemidji again. Holy cow.
Ooh.
I think that's Waters again, but right to Strickland. The Bemidji plays, even in tournament play, played close to 20 players in the game. I think they played 18 maybe. At least 17, and St. Cloud during certain games only played 2 subs, maybe 3, maybe 4, and so they're really tight, and it puts a lot of pressure on those players to perform. So especially this early, like, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on them to see if they can get one.
Yeah, and Bemidji's still really, I would say, pushing forward right now. They're not content to be just up 1-0.
Yeah.
No, the portal is crazy. It's been crazy for a while. I think the different divisions have different access times. I'm not familiar. I only know that I can access it all the time. So, I mean, literally I would say close to 30 players a day, maybe more, maybe a little less on any given day that go in. So then it's just about looking through and seeing who might be a good fit for you.
For you, do you mostly like look to see if it's a Minnesota kid, upper Midwest kid, or do you just look like, hey, was someone at a program that seems like they have the chops that we could go at? Like, what kind of targeting do you try to do for that? Let's pretend these players are watching this watch along, Christy. Who's a good fit for Moorhead?
So this is my recruiting pitch right now.
Sure.
Come on, St. Cloud. No, I mean, I try to do players in places that we already have players from. So we've had some success in like the Pac Northwest, so Washington, Oregon. So I look sometimes there. Sometimes I look at like mid-major D1 because I know that I'm not going to get a transfer from a Big Ten. Like this is really unrealistic.
Right.
Sometimes they have majors in there, which is helpful because for us, we have a really good speech language hearing program. So if that's your major, I know we're highly competitive there. So I know that I'm going to have a really good chance at that type of player.
Yeah.
But it is really like very hit or miss.
Right. Because I mean, when you go after, do you sort of know the vibe you're going to get when you go after a certain player? Like, okay, if I go after someone who is playing in the Horizon League or some other, upper Midwest mid-major D1, do you sort of know like what they expect you to say is like, I'm going to play you, you have a role, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you sort of know how you have to pitch like different kids from different places?
Sort of, but I coached in mid-major D1 for a long time, and you even get players there that don't have that type of like big fish, small pond mentality that you're talking about.
Right.
But I had a transfer come in from Alabama State, and that was part of my conversation to her is like, hey, like I'm hoping that you can fill this role, and of course you're saying all the right things, and I hope you can, but I'm not guaranteeing that you will. Oh, come on.
Oh, see, that's the tough thing. So Schuster was trying to run on, but just solid athletic. That might have even been Hallie Peterson battling her, by the way, and it's going to be tough to get by Hallie, but those kind of balls can be really tough for St. Cloud to get on the end on sometimes because Bemidji's pretty disciplined too.
In the middle, right? Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, I got to hop off, even though I'm thoroughly enjoying being on this broadcast.
Right on. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach. Good to get a little insight from the Dragons head coach.
All right, you take care.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, this is about as perfect as Bemidji could have written the script of like going up that early. St. Cloud has had some actual like possession downhill though. So let's see if they can. They really probably need to get on, either keep it to 1 at half or get on at half to really feel confident.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to be in it, they might feel confident, but to have a chance of that, it's hard to imagine them getting 2 or 3 goals right now, but
So for those who haven't followed super close, Bemidji won the regular season 2-0 and then sort of poetically also won the NCAA NSIC tournament 2-0 against St. Cloud. So St. Cloud has plenty of, revenge game vibes if they can try and come back. But
it's basically like in club soccer, this would be like the Super Cup, because it's like the St. Cloud won the regular season, Bemidji won it, and it'd be better if the Super Cup was at the end of the actual year. Then it's not a preseason friendly. But yeah, having already played 3 times, this is crazy that they're playing. Yeah, because Upper Iowa left, for people who anyone watching probably knows, because they would care about the NSIC. But yeah, that made the schedule goofy, and players did say it kind of messed with them because they didn't have travel partners, so the rhythm was different.
Right.
And then I think like Katie Anderson from Concordia St. Paul was really great because she was pretty honest about a lot of it and saying how she liked being Mankato's travel partner because everyone was thinking a little bit more about Mankato. I was like, yeah, kind of an unfair advantage in a way.
It's a fun little nuanced advantage. Yeah, like a mental game advantage.
Or if your travel partner was kind of bad, it's like the other team would get to rest players, or like they're feeling that, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I think Dominga is trying to get over the top. Yeah, it's a tough ball. Credit to the MIA network or the folks at Emporia. This is actually a pretty solid view. I think they must have a camera up on a stick, because it looks like at certain points there's a little bit of fisheye element to the camera. So I think it must be one of those like Speedio or similar ones. But it actually looks pretty good. Yeah,
it's the only frustrating thing when it goes blurry every once in a while, and then when it's during an offensive chance, you're like, I don't know. I don't know. The parents are desperately looking at home. I do think I don't know if it's the passes. It does feel like the grass is like a little bumpy, but I mean, it looks pretty good.
I haven't seen anything too crazy, but
also that's a little bit of when the blur comes in, the pass looks like it's bouncing maybe.
Mm-hmm.
They're by a big athletic complex.
Yeah, Emporia is sort of like straight west of Kansas City, so a little bit farther west than like Lawrence, if people are wondering. I looked it up when I was Strickland with a good save there.
Did you used to play them in college football?
No, I looked it up when I was considering driving down there.
No, so, but I thought Morris did play them at one point.
Well, if they're D2, they would have done it back in the D2 era or whatever. Looks like maybe someone got hit. St. Cloud player got hit.
This is like a rare time where if a Minnesota team had hosted, it actually would have been warm enough, although it's kind of cold today, but it's not nearly as bad as it normally would be.
Yeah, being the seeding dictates who gets a host. So the top 2 each get to host sort of a 4-team cluster. So St. Cloud just missed out on getting to host. They ended up being the 3 seed. And then Mankato on the other side of the bracket. So it's kind of cool that both Minnesota teams face each other, because you're guaranteed to have one of the Minnesota teams in the next round. But
yeah,
tough because it means you're also guaranteed one drops. And then Mankato plays later today at 3:00. They play Central Missouri, who they beat 1-0 in non-conference, I think. So should have another team like Bemidji with a lot of tournament experience. So we'll see if they're able to advance. Could be cool.
Christy Kopitz had to leave, but her name was Christy Chappell when she played for Crookston, and I'll just read some of her stats because it was a different time. She was there guessed largely to her and obviously other players, like they made the NSIC tournament. So they were in a different place in terms of the tiers, and she was a big part of it. So she had 25 goals, which doesn't sound like a lot over 4 years, but
that's quite a bit.
Well, the difference is, so like Sarah Wendt is, I think, likely going to be on with us in the second half. She played for a team that was winning the conference all the time. And so she banged, and she had 5 years, but she scored like 47 goals.
Yeah.
But she had 5 years, and then she also was on the winning team, playing on a challenging team and scoring, 6-7 goals every year or something. But yeah, she's the all-time leader by far. Like the second place person has 16 goals at Crookston. Points, she has 62. The next person has 37. So she almost has double the amount of points as the top point person. So like, it's
just a legend.
She puts the rivalry in the Highway 75 rivalry rock.
If any teams want to invent new rivalries and trophies, we will amplify them. So just we learned about a new one this year we didn't know about, Concordia and Bemidji.
Priam the pig. Yeah, we needed a solid picture of it though. I didn't see what it looks like. Katie was saying it's really big and legit. It sounds like a Greek statue. It's like
Priam, yeah.
Priam.
St. Cloud had the ball in dangerous position. They got whistled for a handball, I think.
I know you love shots, Matt. Christy has the most shots in Crookston history, 180 shots.
Shots is like the silliest stat of all time. I'm very pro shot. I just think shot total stats are absurd.
Yeah, she's in her 8th season at Moorhead, by the way. Christy is. She was an assistant for a bit at Crookston when she graduated, then went to Northern Illinois as the D1 place she worked for a while. I love that she thought I remembered the name of her kids. It's very sweet. And I do fondly remember interviewing you, Christy, but I absolutely am not that good.
A lot of these, Mark mentioned how long these coaches stay in these NSIC jobs, and specifically the Minsky jobs in Minnesota. Part of that is because these coaches, I think all of them, are part of the interfaculty organization, so they're unionized. So this is the pro-labor part of the watch-along. So they end up getting
just a matter of fact of their
really, they just end up being really strongly compensated, fairly compensated, and they get solid benefits. For example, because they're part of the IFO, Greta McDonald was able to take parental leave, and I think at the time was said to be the only soccer coach to ever take parental leave. Which is, as I said to her directly, super rad that she was able to take it, super rad that she did take it. Ooh, Schuster, nice defense. God, I think that was Hallie Peterson again. Just Bemidji defense is just so tough. But she was able to take parental leave, and it means, when Christy talked about being a mom and a coach in the space, and frankly, dads, hopefully we'll see dads take it too, but it just helps coaches actually be human beings, which is so rare. So shout out to the IFO and shout out to all the Minsky head soccer coaches unionized, which is great.
Yeah. Way to go, workers.
Ooh.
It is. I mean, like
Primerano with it.
She made
the box. Across.
Oh! That's got to be in, right?
No. Oh my gosh. The angle. No, the keeper got it. Holy cow.
That did not look like that she did.
That looked like a goal. Oh my gosh.
What a great play. How did that ball make it through on the cross? It made it all the way across to the far post.
Wow. Credit to St. Cloud actually got to the line. Oh, Bemidji again.
That's a VAR call right there.
That from this angle looked like a goal for sure. I think Dominguez was on the end of it. Really good back post run. Ooh. Primerano sent it across.
Jeez.
The stats might be a second behind, because I think otherwise they were trying to call it a shot for Primerano, but that was by the way, gigantic save by Edie Franson.
80, I think. Is it? I don't remember.
Franson had a ridiculous save against Trapino in the tournament that I think really set the tone for that 2-0 win. Kept it level so that Bemidji could score first. Ooh, Bemidji has runners. Some chaos, box chaos. Should mention too, Bemidji is up. It is worth mentioning that these center backs and that defensive unit for St. Cloud is so tough. Yeah. So it's Zerna and Spain as the two center backs, and I think both are returning. One's a junior, one's a freshman. They are really, really good for St. Cloud, and Bemidji has a really strong unit too. Wait, that's not a PK, right?
No.
Corner.
25.
Oh, a free kick though.
I didn't see if it must have been a foul, I guess.
Yeah.
There's
yellow card on Spain.
Okay. St. Cloud's only losing a couple seniors, so they'll be good next year. They said they told us they're so pumped about their recruits. Oh, I wonder.
Well, and the Bemidji head coach Jim Stone, unprompted, brought up how good the St. Cloud class is when I talked to him for prep. So
which means they must be looking at some of the same players, to be aware even of who.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to spoil it. The live stats are quicker than the broadcast right now, so I know what happens in this free kick. Maggie Cade is taking it. Captain Maggie Cade.
Bar.
Crossbar.
Wow. That's pretty close to get a good free kick in. It's kind of too close to get it above. Maybe it helps. I guess the difference in height with men and women maybe helps a little bit because that's like 25 yards at most, 23.
It's really
well. That was crazy.
We got the NSIC Freshman of the Year, Lindsay Trapino, just came on for Schuster. That's a standard sub they do. Trapino has like a ridiculous touch if you give her a window. She had like 4 absolute bangers for like game. I think she had 4 game-winning goals.
Yeah, she's just like 6th man of the year if it was basketball.
Yeah, she's from Wisconsin. She's a good attacking player. Another of those top line players for St. Cloud that just has really good touch, really good tactical stuff. Maybe you won't like burst all the way past you, but just fantastic shot.
Yeah, this is for people who didn't see. It was St. Cloud's first NSIC title. They broke records for. Broke records for most wins, unbeaten streak, conference victories, which they had one less conference game this year, I think. But yeah.
First NCAA tournament too, which is cool. Bemidji is more living through their sort of, you could call it like their golden age. They've been making NCAA tournament runs. Really came hard charging the end of the season to get home field in the NSIC, run all the way through the conference tournament. They're just sort of perennial tournament players at this point.
Just drive into the Dust Bowl every fall.
or hosting it in the Ice Bowl of Bemidji.
Yeah. Come on. We need Bemidji State football to go D1 or something. Think about heating coils under that baby.
Get a gigantic field house up there. Bemidji has a lot of just really, really solid players and athletes that came in. Like during the NSIC tournament, we watched them multiple times. Like Ella Wade comes in, Hodney comes in, Stocky comes in. Like just attacking bodies. I mean, they just wear you down. Ooh. We mentioned the young players for St. Cloud. Bemidji has a ton of young players who make a bunch of impact. Freed, Jaeger, Coe, Emerson, some minutes. Hare is a redshirt freshman. Wade is a freshman. Barthelt's only a sophomore. I mean, like Hilsnitz is only a sophomore. Davy played. She's a freshman.
Saved by the Bell, the new class.
It's just ridiculous.
Shout out to Jess. Jess stepped on my toes in the black art. We both have Saved by the Bell style shirts, and we're going to bartend together, and people are going to lose their minds. Some say they're Rocco's Modern Life shirts. I disagree. I think they're Saved by the Bell. Sorry.
Sylvie Waters is a sophomore. I mean, just
deep.
It's just crazy to see young players be that good. I mean, it's just because you're going up against fifth years like Hallie Peterson and like Maggie Cade, and you just Dominguez at the chance.
I'm going to read to folks just so everybody knows we still have Minnesotans playing in the D1 tournament. I don't want to take the shine from these people, but honestly, these I'm sure are youth teammates of some of these players. But we have a few Minnesotans left, like North Carolina's playing Alabama at 2:30, Wisconsin's playing Texas at 1. These are on ESPN Plus. Penn State plays Santa Clara at 5. Brown plays Mississippi State at 5:30. Those are all and then Nebraska, Lauren Bazell plays Tennessee at 7 p.m. So second round NCAA tournament. They're all on ESPN Plus.
And as much as Minnesotans carry their anti-Badger vibes or whatever, Wisconsin has like a half dozen Minnesotans. So that really is sort of Minnesota East for those watching the tournament still. But yeah, Maddie Darlene at UNC, McBean at Penn State. I mean, Gagne,
Claire Gagne at Brown. 4-time Ivy League title, Brown. So probably she's besides she's a big part of the team too. But yeah, aside from Darlene, she's on the most dynastic squad right now. Yeah, UNC and Brown are really the two that have the most chance to, and I guess Wisconsin too. I haven't watched them much, to be honest, but
they always have a chance in tournament play because they're so gritty, and like Esau, Jaskinek, like all these players that are just, they're just so hardy. Yeah, shout out to Kia McNeil at Brown, 4 years in a row. Just one of the very few like black women head coaches in D1 or all of college soccer. Just super, super rad. Corner for St. Cloud. This is how they scored in their game against Duluth. Ooh, props on the camera angle. We get to see the service come in here. Brooke Quam standing over it.
And I wonder how many parents went all the way down there. Probably plenty.
Any parents, DM us. I'll pull up make sure we see it.
They'll put you in. Come into the show.
Honestly, anyone watching who does want to join us, DM us. We'll send you the link.
Just text Matt at.
My cell is probably borderline public anyway.
Probably.
Nice ball.
Oh, weird.
Little lag. Whoa. Chaos.
I mean, by the way, if the people at the NIAA are listening, they aren't. Go do a replay of that goal line video from the first half goal. You would be able to see it. So, dorks, if you're listening.
That's a good point.
Or just send us the raw content. Matt will do it. So if they win, do they play on Sunday, I'm assuming? I should have pulled that up ahead.
We can pull it up now.
Because I was going to say, we could definitely throw it on at the Blackheart.
Let's see. Sunday at 1 is the placeholder time and date. So okay. I'm assuming that's right.
Yeah, and also it would work out really well because there's a drag show here at 3 p.m. on Sunday. So if you're watching the game and they go into extra time in the second round, the penalties would be during a drag show. So queer soccer bar.
Ooh. That's pretty close to a real chance for St. Cloud.
That happened once before when we were watching the Gopher game, and there was a rare drag show at like 1 p.m. And so the people walk in, they're like, wow, this is such a gay bar. It's the drag show at 1 p.m. You're like, sometimes.
It is not. Yeah, it is not that common for a midday drag show.
Gay people have to rest and, work and have lunch too, apparently.
St. Cloud is doing a really good job of getting into the attack. This is not what it looked like when Bemidji got up in the NSIC tournament. They really completely took over the game, to be honest. And St. Cloud has battled super, super hard, and they've been in the final third.
Yeah, they're probing. They're finding little bits. That one play, I can't believe that wasn't a goal. I'm sure what the St. Cloud coaches are saying right now.
It from the broadcast angle, it looked like it was already in before Dominguez even got there, and then it looked like Dominguez got a touch.
Yeah, if they end up, if that ends up the difference, that's going to be tough. And I do wonder if they could get that video. Probably not. They'll only get their coach's video from they won't want to rock the boat and give it to them.
I'll shoot a message to the Emporia State comms team. Whoa, danger.
That keeper she did not.
Dude,
Franzen didn't. She didn't get the ball. It was loose.
They are throwing so much at Franzen right now. I can't believe.
Wow, it was hard to see where. I think the ball was just too clogged up. But that's twice that the ball has been on the ground in the 6, basically. Oof.
They are Franzen. If Bemidji wins this game and keeps it scoreless, Franzen and the defensive unit is going to have to be like a collective MVP, because St. Cloud is just throwing it at them.
It is you can see the sun angles. I guess that was a really high ball. And so it was definitely a sunny thing for her. Cause she came out early and she didn't jump at the right. I think she just got it right in the sun.
Yeah. Oh, Zoe Fanter is in for St. Cloud. I don't think we always saw her come in during the tournament. Dockler's also in. We saw her a bit. Jordan Shaden is in for Bemidji. That's one name I haven't mentioned yet. Jager's in. We mentioned her previously.
Whoa. Ooh. That was almost a nice little dribble turn, but there's 2 defenders to split.
These goal kicks for Bemidji are interesting because they always play them short. And I'm curious if St. Cloud will start just pressuring way higher on it.
They haven't. I just don't remember it from last year, the year before, them being a purely we will play it out the back team. They're under pressure still. I just didn't remember it.
Window for Bemidji. Oh, it whistled off. Yeah, I think honestly it's probably just Franzen's leg. Maybe Franzen just doesn't have a monster goal.
Well, no, not the. I mean, just they play it out. If they recover the ball as a center back, they don't try to play it at the line. They just play it to the keeper, play it to the next defender. They're very comfortable. Yeah, playing it. Yeah. Yeah, let's see if they can get. Ooh, nice little. Okay, can she slip her? Yeah, no. Nice little player overhangs.
Those are really nice. They're not in them, but
don't need to be. It must be
nice.
Warm.
Nice for if it's raining for sure. Yeah, those look really nice.
Yeah, so then the next game, I think we've said before, but Minnesota State Mankato plays at 3 p.m. They play Washburn University.
Yeah, I'll live tweet that at minimum.
Get the goals.
Shout out to Travis Galippo from photog who's taking some pics for us over at the Summit League Championship. He's watching. He says the only thing missing is Modist Brewing tall boys. Even we don't always crush it and drink at 10 a.m.
I mean, Travis, it makes sense. I understand what you're saying, bud. Try to keeping it professional.
Shout out to Modist. Give up all the love. Shout out to Pentz Homes.
I get a lot of love wearing Modist gear in the bar, especially their shirt that just says "Support Trans Lives." People are psyched to see like that a brewery is throwing it out. So I get tons of love. Thank you, Modist.
I don't know if this is just because I threw this watch along in the BSU soccer like fan group on Facebook this morning, but 29 people watching along with us makes me think we should never live tweet again.
Well, hey.
And actually, people who are watching, comment or reply where you're watching and say if you prefer this to live tweets, because if you do, that will be good for us to know.
It's coming from inside the bar.
And actually,
well, I guess one of the Minnesota teams is guaranteed to be. They're on the same side of the bracket, right?
They're on the same, but they would have to. They would each have to win one additional game.
Oh, so okay. I was gonna say, no matter what, we'll have the next game on at the Black Card on Sunday. But I think we likely will, because I'll be here at 1.
So as we kind of hinted at or jumbled at there, because it's an 8-team group, if Bemidji advances, for example, they would have to win an additional game, and then there's a chance that if Mankato also advances, they'd face each other. That would be another, and that would be to win the entire region. So that would send them to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 even.
Well, it's an interesting thing in the D2. It's not a balanced number of people in a bracket. Certain regions have 7 teams or
right.
Which is really interesting. I guess it just comes down to the number of teams and how many guarantees they give and everything. But so it makes it a little confusing because some people have buys, but it's called first round, second round, third round, which I guess would be the round of 16, the third round.
So I think the region championship would be the equivalent of the Sweet 16, basically, because you've won 2 games.
Yeah.
Breffel in, Katie Compton in for St. Cloud, Breffel in for Bemidji.
Yeah. So Bemidji, defending Central Region champs. They had tight games. They had to do it with penalties.
By the way, shout out to, I kind of mentioned it, but for the Bemidji State staff, I'm assuming they started this group, but there's almost 1,000 people in this sort of fan group thing, and they share all their news in there, and it makes it honestly insanely easy for me to track everything going on with that team. But it also makes it super easy for the parents and fans to find all their stuff. And these NSIC teams get such good local coverage. I mean, St. Cloud doesn't get as much because their local media is there's some tough stuff going on with the paper, but Bemidji and Mankato and Duluth and all these places get solid coverage. So other teams, if you want to start a group like that, I will join in it and we will share our stuff there and whatever. But the Bemidji one is super. And if other ones exist, actually DM us and tell us, because if St. Cloud has one I don't know about, or Mankato or whoever, Crookston, Winona, let us know if they exist, because it's super easy. I get notified all the time and I just see everything that goes in there.
I didn't know that. Very cool. Missing out not having a Facebook. Last year for people, Bemidji beat Central Oklahoma in the first round. They got to play Minnesota State Mankato in the second round. In 2 OTs, they won 4-2. And I don't know and then that wasn't a PK shootout, but then so the first round, Minnesota State won on a shootout. Second round, Bemidji beats Minnesota State in overtime. And then Bemidji State beats Emporia 1-1, and then in a penalty shootout, and then they lose to Ferris State in the Elite Eight. Yeah. There we go.
For people who want to really deeply nerd out on the Central Region stuff, the NSIC and the MIAA are really sort of the powers in the region. The third conference, and I forget what it is usually like usually you only get the automatic bid, and then the other at larges almost always end up going to the two other conferences just based on where the influence has been. So MIAA being the one where like Emporia and Central Missouri and all these standard, and Washburn, I think, like all these powers, even Fort Hays maybe is in it too. Like I think they're all from the MIAA.
Yeah. So I didn't even realize they're looking at last year and this year's bracket. If Bemidji wins, it's a rematch with Emporia from last year. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but because you do it regionally and you always play your region first, there's actually like gigantic rivalry potential in every year.
Well, I mean, and like Minnesota State Mankato schedules all the big regional people every year. So it's like, yeah, they played Central Missouri already. They played, so they're playing Central Missouri in Washburn. My mistake. Mm-hmm. They said at Washburn University in their text. But yeah, they're playing Central Missouri, who they played.
Ooh, qualm with it.
Who are the Jennies? That I do remember from last year, which shows how much we have covered Central Missouri, because their logo is a donkey, so it helped me. A Jenny is a female donkey, a female mule. I think, I don't know.
We're learning a lot.
Yeah.
Goal chance there for St. Cloud got shut down.
I mean, Minnesota State's logo is a bull, but they're the Maverick. So I don't know if it's it's a Maverick bull or it's just they're symbolized,
If anyone is watching that wants to hop on and explain it, Kevin Beisman, if you're athletic director at Mankato, if you want to come on and explain it to us.
Trying to respect the naming conventions, guys. I'm doing my best.
Oh, excuse me. Got a good note from a Bemidji. We didn't see starters posted, so it was hard for me to see back in net, but a helpful note that Franson is not in goal for BSU. It's actually Anna Stedman back there. So good job by Stedman dealing with the chaos there. Thanks to Garen Hodney for the help.
Thank you.
And a good reminder that actually, if I'm looking for them, any comment you put in Facebook or YouTube actually shows up for us here. So we're able to see it. So appreciate it, Darren. Shout out to the dads. We always shout out the moms. Shout out to the dads as well. Darren just earned himself a segment on what do the dads think at the next Bemidji State game.
What a prize! And what a prize!
The parents are always reluctantly willing to do it for sure.
So I'm looking. I don't see that Stedman has played this year.
Might have just been a knock. And by the way, Anna Stedman, or Anna, excuse me if I get it wrong. I'll try and pull it up. Shout out to Stedman from Little Falls, another place Mark and I played a lot of Classic 2 soccer as part of Parkland Soccer Club.
They beat us for like an under 12 Northwest Division championship one year. Isn't that? I think Little Falls is where someone kicked a ball and Matt just jumped up and caught it with his hands one time when we were like, remember that?
That might be, yeah.
We were like 13.
For those who are unaware, Mark and I were not the highest talent soccer players in the world.
That doesn't make you sound very good. Hey, I scored a goal legally by following through and then kicking a guy in the face after the shot. So yeah, we're really good. So both teams have freshman keepers right now, by the way. Just a little storyline if they're both in if it goes to PKs.
Well, oh yeah. Props. We got some Jaeger fans tuned in. For Jaeger's been a good rotation
Oh, I thought you were saying in terms of why aren't you drinking Modist? We got some Jaeger fans saying how they're.
I'm not drinking Yag. Keely Yeager's a freshman, another one of the freshmen from Lincoln, Nebraska. We got some of her folks tuned in.
We use for fundraising. If someone wants to promise a certain amount of NIL money to these teams, I'll take a shot of Jaeger if you want. This I can do. It would not be my first choice, but.
I don't know if coaches would appreciate this, but I've sort of continued to offer, if anyone does an overly orchestrated celebration, like if a player can do a flip or like a back handspring or something, if anyone does that and we can see the video and like find the video and share it, we'll give you an NIL, like a one-time NIL payment just for that. So sure. I don't know if coaches are psyched about that, but like if someone does a legit celebration on a crazy goal, we'll just give you like $250.
It's a positive bounty. Yeah, it's not a negative one.
I mean, we will literally do it. And I hopefully people know we're kooky enough that this is not a lie. I will literally Venmo you $250.
Wow, 250. This guy is comfortable.
And we're into halftime.
Let's take a little break, huh?
Maybe we'll just take a break. We'll be back and with some serious BSU star power. Mark already kind of gave it away, but we'll pretend it's a secret reveal. But a BSU legend gonna join us.
Sarah went, yeah. People know. We back.
All right. I'll mute. We'll be back.
All right, y'all. Hopping back in. Second half's about to start. You got all the info I could find on Anna Stedman. Her Little Falls high school team, or no, U18 team, won the state NYSA title. Little Falls. And then when she played for Cholos, U19s, they did well at NSIC Cup. I can also pull. Sarah, you wave at me if you want me to pull you in. You let me know. I'll let you get set. But yeah, Anna Stedman coming in as a freshman. Not someone who played all year. All right. Folks, we have a treat for you.
Okay.
I'm going to pull her in. Sarah Wendt, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm awesome. This is fun. It's us and I'm sure the parents, maybe a couple coaches hanging out. I have no doubt. For people who need an introduction, I'm sure most of you don't. You either watched, a team you like get beaten by Sarah in the goal, or you cheered for her, but Sarah's a 47-time goal scorer for BSU. Sarah, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on.
First fall without playoff soccer, or soccer being played competitively. Did you get your juices out in like a rec league? Are you playing still somehow?
No, I'm not playing. It's definitely weird being on the other side of it. Me, Aaron and Allie watched them win the championship, and it was absolutely so nerve-wracking being in the stands. It was horrible. It's so much different than being on the field.
Yeah, you went to St. Cloud?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, it was a really impressive game for them to hold on. Like when they were solid.
They were.
Yeah. But yeah, talk about what have you been up to? And so you're not playing soccer. I could see that too, like needing a break. You're like, wow, soccer isn't dictating my life for the first time in a while, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
What have you been up to after college now or after soccer?
So I work in a podiatry clinic in Bemidji. So I'm still in Bemidji. And then I'm going to podiatry school in August. So gonna work with feet.
Cool. Where are you going to school?
In Des Moines, Iowa.
Right on. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. They're about to get you're not going to try and stay in the game for their planned USL Super League team, Sarah? I think they're potentially one to get like one of the new pro teams once they get their like USL stuff going there. So that would make Des Moines an even cooler place to be.
I know it would. I didn't even know they were doing that. So that's exciting.
Yeah, they're waiting to get like the men's team was first, where they're trying to get a nice stadium built there. And then they're rumored to be like one of the places they would add in the Super League which will be the new pro league, theoretically starting the next fall.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. That's exciting. Good for them.
Yeah. We're back. I wanted to ask you this, Sarah, because I didn't know, I only watch so many of Bemidji's games every year, but it felt like it's just like such a commitment to playing out the back. Like I forget if that was always something you guys did, or if it's something like with skill sets of these players, but like they don't have any urgency to get it out of the defender's feet at all.
I think it was definitely a plan of ours when I was there. We always wanted to work out the back and kind of keep control. I think more of it now is that I was a target when I was there. So with every goal kick that went long, it was looking for me. And I think just with different players, that's either not an option or they don't like doing that. So they continue to play out of the back. Yeah, but we've always been a very solid team out of the back. I mean, we have a very good defensive unit. So, I mean, if you can play out of the back, might as well.
Yeah.
I think they'd rather keep possession than give it a 50-50 shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you were a target, even if it wasn't like a run in behind or whatever, you're really good about like holding it up too, and like then you could like play it off from there. So I can see that. Yeah. How is it like talk about Hallie Peterson, because her name comes up a lot and she's really recognized one of like, I mean, she was there with Megan Dahl of a really solid defensive pair you always played against. Somewhat like hype up. We've said her name a bunch watching these games, but tell us why she's good. What makes her hard to play against?
She is the most hardworking player I've ever known. She is extremely talented. And she went to Stillwater, so I played against her when I was in high school because I went to Mounds View and we're in the same section.
Yeah.
And then she came in as a freshman and kind of didn't really know where she was going to play. And then between freshman year and sophomore year, like, she honestly 180. Like, she just took everything more serious, like, took her fitness more seriously, took her touches more seriously. Like, she was like, I want to be someone that is going to be on the field. And she is. And she is someone who never settles for good enough. Like, she always wants to improve. She's arguably one of the best players on their team and defender, like, in the region. And she'll come to us or come to me and be like, what can I do to improve? Like, you just don't find players like that anymore. A lot of players are like content when just kind of staying where they are. And she's like, no, I want to be the best I can be, which is very appreciative. And also just going against her in all practices, she made us better. Like, her and Dahl together, just, you will never find a pairing that good again.
There was so many times when St. Cloud was facing Bemidji in the tournament or even whoever was facing Bemidji in the tournament, and we were calling those games, and a player would seem to have like a breakaway or an opportunity, and Hallie would be there and just like destroy their spirit, just like,
every time.
Nope, it's just
she
dead.
would do that
like,
to
nope.
me too. I would get
Nope,
my
play's
spirit
over.
broken in practice.
It's like, no, you thought you had a chance one-on-one, and there was not a chance.
No.
You are dead. It is dead.
How was Sarah? I'm wondering if you like threw on a wig, and tried to play on the team today, like as a sneaky freshman. Where, like, how would you do, man? How many minutes could you do? Would you get a goal? What do you still have? What do you have in the tank?
I think if I would have continued to practice.
That's
I
not the
maybe
question,
get
of course, Sarah. If you're continuing to practice, obviously, I want to know what you have. He called you today, said, Sarah, we got to pull something. What would have happened?
I would do everything I can. I'd be running after every ball. I'd probably be so gassed. Soccer fitness is one of the hardest fitnesses to get, and it's super easy to lose. So probably wouldn't be fit, but I'd be working my butt off for that.
Sharpness on the ball too would like, you'd get it back quick, but it's like you lose that too. Like,
oh yeah.
St. Cloud is really pressing higher to start the second half. They're clearly trying to just like get one back because they have that memory in the back of their head. When Bemidji went up in the tournament, they immediately went up a second goal, and the game just felt over. And so St. Cloud is like, screw this, we have to try. Quam with it.
Oh.
It's tough to see some of the angles there, but Quam has been super high up. She's like their box-to-box mid, and she is like all the way to the 18. Like, they are throwing forward.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah. What do you remember about playing St. Cloud, Sarah? Because last year they missed the playoffs, but like they were close, and it was kind of a bit of a dip because they usually tend to be, at least in the playoff picture. Like, what do you remember about playing them? They have some new people this year and new looks, but what's your history with St. Cloud?
I always remember them being a team that we struggled to score on. I have no idea. I mean, they're a very respectable team, and we would have chances, we just couldn't score. And when we were at St. Cloud watching, I was enlightened that we had not won on that field. We had only tied, which was crazy to me because I don't remember tying that much in my career. But yeah, St. Cloud is always a team that is absolutely solid, and they look like they have a lot of good new players coming in. And I mean, they won the conference for a reason, so you got to tip your hat to that. But they're always a strong team. They're always a hard team to play, and I'm really proud of them for making the tournament, though. That is an incredible accomplishment, and like, they should be proud of that.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, then you more than St. Cloud again trying to get into that final third. And you more than anyone knows how hard it is to sort of go from a low tier NSIC team to a mid tier, go from a mid tier to a top tier. Like, it is really, really tough to sort of change your destiny and go into that new tier. For a team like St. Cloud that traditionally is in the middle, just talk about what it takes week after week. Because Bemidji sort of did this when we started covering you all. You reached that top tier, and you just have always been there now. but talk about what it takes to make that jump. Because I think people don't appreciate like the daily grind. Ooh, Waters with the chance too. Oh, there we go. But that what it takes to make that jump from sort of to go into a new tier on the table.
I think it takes a lot of heart and mentality, which kind of seems like everyone should have heart if you're going to play. But to go into a season, especially from seasons like where you haven't exactly performed well in the past, and like you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. Like every game's a new game, especially when you graduate that many people. Like Bemidji graduated so many people. And so I think just with St. Cloud, I don't know how many they graduated, but they obviously got a lot of new girls. I think just having to go into every practice and like trying to get 1% better and just being like, we don't know how this year is going to go, but if we go into a game or practices getting that 1% better, then you never really know what's going to happen. And you can see with them, like they started winning. And so like their spirits kind of got higher, and then they won the conference outright. And like, that is an extreme accomplishment. And that kind of shows that like anyone can win it. Like no one would have voted St. Cloud to get first. Not since I've been there. And like,
they were, I'd have to look it up. I think they were voted.
I think
they got picked 9th.
Yeah.
That's like a huge like testimony to them though. Like they wanted something and then they got it. I think especially in the NSIC, you never really know what's going to happen. Like you have your powerhouse teams that are supposed to win. I think whenever I was there, we were never slotted to win first, and we won first twice. So it's kind of like you never know what's going to happen. And I think whatever team wants it more, like truly wants it and will put in the effort, like they're going to get rewarded. And that's kind of what St. Cloud's year's been like.
We noticed Sarah, Edie Franson, who'd started every game for BSU, isn't playing today. And then so it's freshman Anna Stedman, who before you guys popped on, I kind of read a little bit about her from Little Falls. She played on the Jolos team, which is XOLOS, like the Tijuana squad, for people who don't know the reference. It's a team based out of like the center of Minnesota. It's players from like Alexandria and Brainerd and Little Falls and Wilmer, which is a drive to be on the team. But they, she's done well playing for them. But this is her first college game. So, I mean, like, what would you or Hallie Peterson say to her? Do you think she needs to be something to be said to her before a game like this?
I think as a freshman starting in an NCAA tournament that no keeper on that team has ever played in is obviously a huge step, but also like she's there for a reason. So like, I think Hallie's super good at like calming down nerves and kind of just like saying how it is. And like, you're here for a reason, like make the most out of it. Like at the end of the day, like soccer is not your life. And it's something that I wish I would have learned a little bit sooner, because I would put like my value as a person in how I played, because that's kind of what you're taught, like especially in college soccer. But I would just say like, I would be like, enjoy it. Like you're picked for a reason. Like it sucks that you have to be thrown into this big of a game. But if you played soccer your whole life, you know how to play it. Like just go out and have fun, do your best.
She had the one really tough time when it was like a really high ball in the sun, but kind of nice like to have a moment like that happen, but like not end in a goal, because you're like, okay, we're through it. Like I can settle my nerves, because it's tough. Both teams had moments like that where the ball just dropped in the 6. Yeah, we would. Well, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, like you mentioned, Sarah, the idea, the mentality of like, you are here for a reason. You are the person picked to start for a reason. Even if you're not like the quote unquote starter, like you're in a position to be put here like for a reason is such a common thing. That's what I heard from a lot of players who over the years have like been in an NWSL training camp, and they get in and they're playing against literal World Cup stars. And all of a sudden you go from being a star college player to being like, not just the youngest and most raw, but you feel like a scrub because you're looking across and it's like the star of the Japanese national team, literal US women's national team players. Like, how can you possibly have a good mentality? And the only thing they could try and tell themselves is like, they picked you for a reason. You're here for a reason. And it's still really tough to do. But like the idea of telling yourself, like you said, one, soccer is not your whole identity, but also even in your soccer identity, like they wanted you, they picked you. You just have to like big yourself up almost.
Right.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I'll do the flip side of all the hype we do. Sarah, I got to ask you the tough question about your penalty record. I was shocked to see this. You scored 47 goals in your career. You only ever took one though in a regular game, like not counting a shootout. What's the mind block with penalties, man? Why did you never get picked?
Well, we had Aaron Becker, who is probably the best penalty taker I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I didn't really need to take one. Like I trusted her with everything, and I'm like, you're better at it than I am, so you go right ahead.
Yeah.
It was never something I like would go and request to take, I guess. I don't know. Penalties were never something that I was like, I need to take these. And especially when you have an Aaron Becker or Maria Stocky, like I'd rather have them taken any day. So
I didn't look. Did you take them in playoff shootouts though?
Yeah, I took
Yeah,
them.
like you had it in. I mean, I watched it last year, but I don't remember. I know you guys had like at least one in the tournament, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would take him during those times, but if it was like a normal game, Aaron's got it.
What was your strategy? Because you can give it up now. You're not playing anymore. What was your PK? Would you mix it up? Would you read the keeper? What would you do?
I think I would always go, if I'm looking at the goal, I'd always go bottom right.
Okay.
Just because I think it's easier opening up your hips than like crossing them over. And I think if you're gonna cross your hips, you have a better chance of like going wide.
Yeah.
And then aiming low, because when you're nervous, you are going to sky it. So
yeah. And keepers, and it's hard for keepers to get low. If you actually get it on the ground, it's really hard to get all the way down.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't know if you'd like, because some people you may have, I don't know if you ever had, was there any keeper where it's like, oh, you've hit PKs on them before? Because you didn't, I don't even think with Mankato, you had like more than one penalty shootout or something.
Right. No, we never played a team like that, but our keepers that I played with, they knew every single person. They knew what they were doing. So it was kind of, Alyssa could tell me where I was going every time. So I was like, well, this is not helpful, but okay.
Yeah, I feel like I remember, I mean, she was just a good keeper, but I feel like I have memories of her. I mean, obviously you guys were in multiple shootouts, so she definitely had to, she's, a big, brave keeper.
Oh yeah, she's great.
We're dealing with, we might finally be back dealing with some stream issues here, but I was going to mention Bemidji has been throwing some balls over the top, and there's been some danger, so they're still continuing to pressure back there to try to get that second goal. Yes, you mentioned the keepers reading the PKs. When anytime I've been able to talk to like a keeper coach about how they train that, the biggest thing I've heard is you read the plant knee, like the plant leg. So not even where the hips are going, but read the plant knee, because like that directionally will give away a hint. But you have to be so quick to do that. Like, you have to be so fast, and you have to train it a bunch, like to make that read.
Yeah, I could never, ever be a goalie. Not a chance. Like, that is just something I would never be able to do.
Yeah. Did you like when a game went to a penalty shootout, or did you think it was like a bad way to have to end the game?
I think I didn't really mind. I knew we were really strong with our penalties, and I knew that if we got into a penalty shootout, we'd probably end up winning, which is, you always need to think that. But every one of our penalty takers, like, they would make them 9 out of 10 times. So I didn't really have any worry doing that, but I would rather have won in regular time. I think most girls would agree with that, because penalty shootouts, they really can go either way, and you're not guaranteed it one way or the other, because some people get really nervous, and some people can hit them in practice and not hit them in games. So it's kind of like up in the air, and it's more of an individual aspect of the sport than a team.
It also creates the opportunity for like such individual heartbreak too. Like it transitions a game into like almost individual pressure, like you said, versus collective pressure. And that can happen in a game anyway, but you're like putting it where like a single forward can feel like they messed up for the whole team, or like a keeper can, or whatever. That's so funny.
Right.
How far in advance of playoffs did you start like getting PK lineups, or like having little tournaments to see who was best, like so that he could get some lineups picked? Like, how does that prep go?
I think we would start before the conference tournament would start, because you go to PKs right away after conference tournaments if you were tied. So we'd start pretty early. We kind of have them at the end of practices, like just like nonchalant, where you could go and take them if you wanted. And then I think when it got closer to the time, you would also see girls staying after practice to get their PK practices in. And then coach, they know who it's going to be. Like, maybe the fifth person's kind of up in the air, but once you have like veteran players, like, who it's going to be, and like the 4 that I kicked with every time, like we knew it was going to be us. He wouldn't tell us in practice just to keep like nerves down, but like you knew.
Well,
And
it'd be like
well,
you and Aaron and Allie and like.
Yeah, like me, Allie, Aaron, and Hallie Peterson were the pretty stuck. And
yeah.
So the 5th person, but usually we wouldn't have to go to 5, so it wasn't as big of a deal. But you knew, coaches always know.
And they can go well beyond 5 too. Like you don't
Right.
know, but like you mentioned her name earlier. This year, Stocky has taken several of them and it made at least like I remember the one against Mary was her, and so like she's been able to hit them too.
Yeah, Maria's an incredible player. She is so calm on the ball that she's someone that once you give her a PK, she'll make it.
Mm-hmm.
How about from watching that last game? I don't know if you watched any other games this year, but how about Barthelt, the forward who's scoring goals? She scored big goals in the tournament. What do you think about her? Like maybe comparisons between your game.
Oh, I think she's an incredible player. She worked so hard this summer, and you can definitely tell. Like stats don't lie. Like she's getting goals left and right. It makes all of us older girls wish that she would have had a season under her belt, so she could have been like, as a freshman, you can't always be 100% comfortable. Like it takes until sophomore year to kind of get your bearings, and so I think a lot of us wish she would have been a sophomore when we played with her, just because she'd be that much more comfortable, and then you could have a year under your belt. And the freshman experience, you can't really. There's no substitution for that. It's kind of a learning year, and. Yeah, she's been playing absolutely amazing. The games I have been able to watch, she is definitely the person that they look to. She's super trustworthy. Like once you get her the ball, like you're gonna either get a goal out of it or assist. And so I think that's a super good player to have on your team. And she's racking up the goals. Like she's the new Rachel Norton. She's someone that can get a bunch of goals for the team and can consistently like bang them in and not have an issue. And yeah, I love playing with her. She's the kindest person you'll ever meet. Like she's so humble, and she'll just keep working until the last whistle. Like we could be up 4-0 and she would still be like putting in the work.
Nice. High praise, Barthelt. Yeah.
Well, and to me, Sarah, and you can talk a little bit about this. It feels like she's also doing it not just with like otherworldly speed being the ticket to her goals. Plenty of forwards are able to like stack up goals by just being straight up faster than people, and just relentless in speed. But it feels like she's doing it with sort of like spacing and timing and touch and like, stuff that you are known for too. But talk about what it takes to be a big time goal scorer. Like when you're not just, you don't happen to be like an Olympic sprinter on the top line.
I think soccer IQ is such a huge thing, and a lot of people don't have it in general. Like everyone has soccer IQ, but to see someone like Maria Stocky or like Kat that has it, like she knows where she needs to be, she knows what space the ball needs to be into, she knows where her run needs to be. Like you can't really teach that, and so that's something that's really helped her too. Like she is very fast, don't get me wrong, and that's also been an aid on her side. But I think just knowing the game and like knowing like where she needs to be and when and kind of how to connect with people, something like you can't really teach. And especially her, like as a sophomore, already knowing that is like a huge like step in the right direction for her. And so she'll be getting some more goals, a lot more goals in her next few years.
Yeah. I always want to give a shout out to players who are being productive in those creative ways, because I think for those who followed the NSIC, like in the recent past, you see a multi-time All-American like a Jenny Vetter, and she has a ton of soccer IQ too, but she's just a ridiculous danger there, but Stedman able to get it. But like Vetter can just burn you physically. I mean, can just like burst by you. And so I want to make sure we talk about like these forwards who are able to like engineer it in a different way and not just physically and whatever, because it's really obvious to track a player who can just like outrun you like crazy.
Right.
And then to have to see someone like engineer it. I just think all those player types are impressive, but for different reasons. So it's like, I want to shout that out.
Oh yeah, I know. Kat is the athlete every coach wants on her team. Like it's incredible. And I love watching her play, and she's so kind. Like she will take responsibility for anything that's like her fault. And like, she's just an incredible player.
Big free kick here. I think. Ooh, nice clearance. I think it was either Cade might have been on that. That's good clearance by Bemidji, and it's out for a corner. I think Sosinski took that, the left back.
I almost want to describe it to be like, Sarah, using a phone, right? So you can't see the game, can you?
I'm on my iPad, but it's kind of I can see it on your live screen, but it's
I see.
Yeah.
They have this good side view, but then it gets confusing because then they switch, and I wish they'd just keep it there.
Oh, it's a
chaos.
lag.
It's a nice line cam, and I almost wish they would just leave it there for the corners.
I know they should.
The whole time, man.
There was a ball that we think maybe St. Cloud should have had a goal in the first half, but it was tough to see for sure. Or no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
Oh, Bemidji
on the run. On the run. Whoa, Strickland.
Big save by Strickland. The freshman keeper from St. Cloud, big save, and then a defender clears it. Oh, wow. That was really close to Bemidji getting up 2-0.
That might have been Cat. It's tough to see. That might have been Cat.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you remember about the tournament run last year, Sarah? Because it was you'd been in the tournament, but like you guys made a run last year. You got to beat Mankato.
Mm-hmm. I just remember it was kind of like a dream being there because you never knew when it was going to be your last. But then also like us older girls, like we've been playing with each other for 5 years, so it was just fun to be able to experience it with each other, and also just playing at home and not having a 15-hour bus ride. It was very nice for us because it was really cold, but it was just, that's Bemidji. You're going to play in negative degrees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the frozen turf, man. At least it wouldn't have, it would have been okay this year, but yeah, you guys get dumped on.
Yeah.
Well, and Sarah, what's the value? You had been in the tournament a couple of times. You had gotten some tournament experience. This year's BSU team, Stedman all the way out to get it. This year's BSU team really feels tournament tested after all those runs you all made. For a team like St. Cloud that's brand new to it, what did those early tournament runs feel like for you compared to the later ones? Like, what was that tournament experience worth in terms of mentality and not getting shook up and all that stuff?
I think earlier when I was younger, I didn't really understand how much it meant to be there. Because my team, I played with really good girls, so they basically got us there, and I was a sub. And so I think when you're younger, you don't really understand the gravity of the situation, and then once you play in it more and more, it's you want to keep going farther and farther, and you understand how much each play and pass mean. And so it's more pressure, but also it's more fun because you get to keep going. And it's not in regular season, you're going to have another game. Whereas this, it's you need to play your all every single time because you don't know when you're going to get a game again.
What also helps if you make it as a freshman, and then to not make it also teaches you the lesson of what it means to.
Yeah, it is not fun not making it after you've been there. And I think as a freshman, it's good to experience because your freshman year can't really substitute for anything. It's getting used to everything, getting used to who you play. And when I was a freshman, I did not understand what it meant to go to the national tournament. I would say I thought it was going to a state tournament in high school, that's not even close. It's an honor, and a privilege to be there. And I think once you understand that, it kind of changes. And also being an older girl and being this could be my last game is just there's a lot of emotions running high. But I think honestly, it's such an honor to be there, and you gotta hang your hat at the fact that you made it there. Yes, you want to keep winning, but you made it there. You got to give yourself some credit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you not miss about being a college soccer player? Because I'm sure you miss the game. This looks fun. You wish you were playing, but you also don't have to do everything you had to do. What do you not miss?
I do not miss how much pressure I think at least the older girls would put on ourselves because we wanted to go as far as we could. It's our last year, and we wanted the saying we're if you're seniors. I think as a freshman you don't really understand that, but once you become older, you're this is their last time, whereas everyone else has another year. But I don't miss the pressure, but there's not a lot I don't miss about it. I loved my teammates, I love my coaches, I miss being out there and having a sport to play. Maybe not the cold weather. I definitely don't miss that, Playing
Yeah.
in negative degrees, that was not the funnest.
Were
it was
you-
fun in the
yes.
moment, but oh.
Sarah, were you one of the sane ones who actually wore tights and wore a headband and stuff? Because we watch these games and like I still remember watching whatever game it was, national tournament or NSIC or whatever. Megan Dahl is like not even wearing gloves, not wearing tights. She's just out there, and I'm like, guys, I get it. You do look tough, but also I'm scared.
Yeah, I don't. Her and Maggie Cade never wore leggings. They didn't like it because they thought it was restricting, which I can understand, but there comes a point where
Sure.
even I'm like, no, I need some more layers.
Right.
But yeah, they were fine. They powered through, but I was definitely a player that wore like 4 layers, and I was freezing the whole time.
Girls, you can get some thin ones. There's all types of leggings, man.
Oh yeah.
Get some, make it, you know. I see those like NBA players wearing full like spandex tights, and I'm like, I want to wear those just to bartend, man. Let's keep these joints tight. It sounds good.
Tough collision there. Looks
Ooh.
like Jessica Emerson, the freshman from Now Then Minnesota, is down. Staff going to check on her. Hopefully nothing too tough. Always hate to see players go down, but both teams take a little bit of a breather. Sarah, I missed it earlier. Where did you say you're working? Which club are you working with?
So I work in a hospital
Oh, okay.
in
Cool.
Bemidji.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I know me and Julian, who's the assistant, were talking about me like helping out with the team, and then our assistant coach, he's a little fired up about that. So I was like, we'll leave it. It's okay. Our assistant coach is he gets fiery. And so when he gets fiery, you kind of back down.
Sure.
I've seen it in person when I would go cover those tournament games, and I'd drive up to Bemidji in my snow pants. If you ever sit behind the Bemidji bench, Jim Stone, the head coach, isn't always the one barking, but some of the assistants are almost literally barking at the ref. So
yeah, so when you get barked at like that, you kind of you back down. And I'm not allowed to argue with that. So I was like, okay, you don't want me, you don't want me.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
So I think they're just doing a drop ball, and Bemidji will kick it to St. Cloud. Emerson did have to come off. Emerson's been one of those sort of energy rotation attackers, a part of that huge rotation of just tons of contributors and good athletes, good young folks, tons of young folks in that rotation.
When you do the transition, like when you have these quick tournament times where you're away and then you win and you have to kind of wait and see who you play, like what's the rest of the day look like for the team, do you think, Sarah? And then like tomorrow to prep if they have to play on Sunday.
So usually after games, I mean, if they lose, they'll go straight home.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll drive the 13, whatever it is, a very long trip home. But if they win, they already have hotels booked, so it's not like a huge deal. And then they already have time set that they can practice, depending on the result. So they would, since this is a really early game, they'll probably eat lunch somewhere and then have study time and kind of do whatever. A lot of people go with their parents because they flew all the way out here or drove all the way out here. Yeah. And then tomorrow they'll have, the team usually does like a walk around. We just walk around the hotel parking lot. Sometimes you go by park, but usually it's hotel parking lot. And then they'll practice.
Do you straight up watch, like, as soon as you actually know, like after this game, if the other possible opponent is playing, do you stay there and watch though?
If it's nice enough out, sometimes, but whenever I've been in the tournament, it hasn't been nice enough out. So our coaches are like, maybe watch them in the hotels. They usually are like, you're not going to go sit in the freezing cold and watch them. But as soon as the game's done, the coaches will be going crazy with film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was
gonna say, as a player,
just 2 days away, it's like I feel like you'd immediately be like, I'd go ice at the hotel or what? Yeah. Ice bath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, ice baths are needed.
That sounds great right now. I bartended, woke up, started doing this. Oh man, an ice bath sounds great.
Oh goodness.
Such an intense activity, bartending.
Is part of that turnaround, Sarah, like if Bemidji wins this or whoever wins this and they have to go on Sunday, is part of it like you have to amp yourself up because you have to like study the team and get prepared. But is part of it also forcing yourself to chill out a little bit, like watch some crappy TV or watch some crappy movie just to like turn your brain off? Like, is part of it just to also rest up so you're not too worked up?
Yeah, I think mainly the older girls are the ones. I guess like Megan Dahl knew everything about everyone, so if I needed knowledge, I'd go to her. But yeah, if you win a game, you kind of you get to enjoy it, and then the coaches do a lot of, like Michael do scouting reports. He's pretty good at it, so you kind of just wait for that. I mean, a lot of the girls will watch the next game, so if this game stays the way it is, then they'll watch the Emporia game. Not everyone does it. Some girls, I didn't do it that often. I didn't really care to watch. But yeah, you just kind of chill out, do your homework, because you're missing a lot of school, and then just like enjoy being there. I think they try not to stress us out too much, but everyone gets stressed out.
Were you guys as fifth years? Because I didn't know like if you were doing grad stuff or if you're just like putzing around with some other minor. Like, were the fifth years kind of more laid back because you had less school to do, because you had less demands to like finish a major? Like, I talked to some players with like, yeah, I'm taking, like dodgeball and whatever. Like,
so Allie Smith was doing a grad program, and then I was taking one class and then TAing. So it was a hard class though, which I kind of didn't wish I would have done, but I took one class. So it was microbiology.
Oh yeah, that counts as 3. Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, so I missed a lot of that. But so I didn't really have that much school stress besides that. And then I think Erin actually had a full class load because she was double majoring.
Yeah.
And then Dahl had an internship, so it wasn't as bad for her. Me and Dahl planned it though. We were like, we do not want to have a lot of stressors.
Yeah. Well, so she was able to she was getting school credit for the internships, and that was enough credits.
Yeah. So with her major, she needed to do an internship, which was part of her major. And
yeah.
So
I see. Yeah.
She just had to do that.
She's a nurse, right?
She wants to be OT. So she's at Kansas State right now doing that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm mixing her up with Rachel Preston as a nurse. Sorry, soccer players. A lot of you work in healthcare too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
St. Cloud is. Oh, I was going to say St. Cloud has continued to get into the final third. I mean, it's still a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
Bemidji's been doing well to get downfield, but it's still 1-0. Like, this game is.
Yeah. They've gotten
chaos town.
Sending some balls to the wing and then getting some crosses into dangerous spots. But yeah, like nothing, only 1 or 2 shots on goal. I was going to say, Sarah, I talked to Katie Anderson, one of your contemporary like forward competitors of a lot of years. And she is taking pre-calc for fun this semester. And I just was like, that's terrible, Katie. That's horrible to hear.
I would never do that.
But she loves it. But I mean, someone's got to fill those poor pre-calc classes, I mean, I took things like Ojibwe and tap dance for fun, but yeah, I mean, you could, yeah.
I know I took relaxation for fun, but some people, she's probably really smart, so props to her for doing that.
Took relaxation for fun. I love it.
Yeah. It was a great class.
Took basketball coaching, track and field coaching. Like, guys, these options exist. Like, they exist.
I know, that's what I did. I took the easiest classes possible.
Wait, what's your job at the hospital? What do you do?
So I'm like a nurse aide in the podiatry clinic, so like feet. So I room people, help with like bandages, casts, like kind of everything that the doctor doesn't do.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, you do most of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great though. I love it.
Yeah. Our sister's a nurse who got her nursing degree up at BSU, and I think probably briefly worked there too for a little bit. So
go Beavers.
Very, very familiar. Our dad is a Bemidji State grad. Go BSU.
They have a great nursing program too.
Yeah, well known for it. Them and Winona, both NSIC schools, known for nursing prowess.
And UMD too, but a little. Yeah. And you can also
danger.
St. Cloud jammed up. I don't know if that's Bemidji Center defender just jammed it up. I was going to say, I don't know if you have anything else on your docket. You can definitely leave whenever you'd like, but we're happy to keep you on and see the end of this drama.
Well, yeah, I actually do need to go to an appointment, but I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Sarah. We'll root for Bemidji while you're still on, and then we'll root for St. Cloud to balance it out a little bit.
Okay. Well, okay. Well,
We have to
you guys.
say
Bye.
even. We have to say even. Thanks, Sarah.
I think Hilsnitz might have busted that up. Although trying to determine players from that far away is pretty tough.
Yeah, when Sarah first came on, she said she's in Bemidji still working, and then she's going to be in Des Moines for grad school for
Oh, nice.
So I was talking to her about that's why I was referencing the new potential USL pro women's team there in the future.
Well, they're trying to sort out their stadium stuff, and I think it got delayed by the city council. They're trying to get a big municipal support for a sort of a downtown stadium type deal.
That'd be great. It's a perfect mid-tier city sports market for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good.
I mean,
you got to go. That would be. I mean, yeah, like go into that and go into the Kansas City Current Stadium. Oh,
danger there. Bemidji's pressuring hard. They want to get that second goal. 10 minutes to go. The season comes down to these 10 minutes. Just nuts. Like the amount of pressure.
There's been a fair amount of chances, but not. And honestly, the dangerous plays were not that the shot was so dangerous, but just like the ball in and then like a mess in the box. So they were really nerve-inducing. You
see even there the BSU assistant on just like a simple miss hit ball that goes out, just full arms up, like full reaction because they're so stressed out.
Fully into it. I get it.
Oh, and even Greta, you very, very rarely see Greta in like the head coach of St. Cloud in full animated instruction, but clearly was trying to tell the team, like, we have to get downfield. Like, you have to, as a unit, get downfield. Yeah. Because you have to establish this back line. So, like, Zerna with the ball there. Sasinski, just like, you need to be up.
Yeah, they usually,
that defense from Bemidji, too.
It's going to be tough.
8.5 minutes to go in this one.
It's a nice little complex. It'd be kind of cool if they threw just some simple little, like, you know, the metal stands on the other side or just like next to the players. Nice little spot.
Yeah, there's some stands on the far side.
Are there? Oh, yeah. Is there? It's hard to see.
I think there's like 4 rows of stands. Nice Emporia State Hornets tent placement, honestly. Some good branding.
My memories from summer soccer are tents like that being terrifying, about to fly away at Aurora and like WPSL games.
Oh yeah, those player covered shelters are really, really nice, and they actually don't block the field.
At the Minnesota Aurora like announcement at the U, some people with a food truck or like brought their tent over, and it fully like the pole broke in the wind, and we had to just all hold it till we could get like bricks. It was prairie wind,
heavy wind. Wow, Bemidji pressuring super high.
Yeah, they just staying committed to it.
Ooh, trying to get through. Off. Hallie Peterson. Looks like Stedman able to grab it. Yeah, even when Sarah mentioned the idea of this being your first game and being in the NCAA, it's just crazy.
I mean, I'm sure, she trains against, her really talented teammates and everything every day. But yeah, it's a different thing.
Well, and being a keeper already is so nuts. Like, if you just assume you're not subbing on because you're not used to keepers don't rotate, and then all of a sudden you go from mostly not really thinking you're going to play, and then you just let's go 90 in the national tournament.
Right.
Just wild, like the mentality. And you've seen a few times where She doesn't fully grab it, but she has not let one in. I mean, huge game.
Yeah. Yeah, should definitely give her confidence. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can tell this is one of those mobile cameras because you can see the seam near midfield where they're stitching the two cameras together.
Mm.
The little bit of a blur is that stitch mark.
You know more about cameras than I do. Yeah, I know.
But honestly, it's a good viewing angle that you can actually see the run of play. This is good.
And
Oh.
if this holds,
Drew.
Oh. Can she get it?
Can she get it?
Camera's not there.
There we go. Oh, look at that tough this is that knock, that defensive knock.
Yeah, it's so tough. Bemidji beat St. Cloud twice this year. If they beat them again this year, it'll be really fun to watch their matchup next year.
Yeah, 3 in 1 year. That's nuts, by the way. When St. Cloud beat Duluth for the third time, 1-0 in the opening round, like beating a team 3 times is ridiculous at any level. It's ridiculous. Hare and Davy are in. Barthelt and Waters come out. That is part of how Bemidji, you have to think, part of why they're able to hold these games on. Just super deep bench, fresh legs, like the entire time. We've praised the teams that are willing to go with a narrow rotation, but it does come with the risk of like then those players have to be able to go 70, 80, 90 minutes. Like Bemidji, Mankato, these mega benches, like there is a reason they play it, and it's not just to keep players happy. Like it does come with fresh legs.
Right. Oh, Bemidji player down the wing. They were really good at wasting time in the NSIC tournament, professional level.
Their game management was ridiculous. Yeah.
Took it to the corner, held it. Yeah. It is funny. Bemidji's only losses, that's why I say a little bit of like a funky season, because they were ranked lower, I think, just because tying a lot of games. Like, but they lost to Wayne State and they lost to Mary, who they're not bad teams, but like maybe games you expect them to win. They lost to Minnesota State, Mankato, but then winning enough and winning at the right time.
What we heard from other NSIC coaches, and this is, I'm sure Jim would say this as well, Jim Stone, head coach of Bemidji, is they were never high in those rankings because their strength of schedule just wasn't strong enough to get those points. And so it matters who, like when we see Mankato's schedule, like Central Missouri and these other tough ones, the reason it pays off isn't just the experience. It can be just in the algorithm, in the equation, it adds up to points for strength of schedule. So it does, but there's that balance the coach has to strike of like, do we schedule a bunch of tough games, even if it means we get losses, but because even St. Cloud, for example, like Northern Michigan is in the tournament, Michigan Tech is in the tournament. Yeah. And so like scheduling them, even though you go and you lose, it adds points, to your ranking. So it gives you more cushion in the at-large.
That's interesting how sports handle that, because like basketball eventually went away from caring if you lost. It's just about what quality or no, maybe it went the opposite, where it is like you actually can get credit now for.
So the way I believe the way the soccer equation works, at least in D1, it might be different in D2, is like a third of the points are like your wins, a third is like strength of opponent, and a third is the opponent's opponents. And so like you playing good teams who play good teams is gigantically worth it.
Yeah. Oh, they've had so many balls in and they're just like, it's just too tight. Yeah. Only 2 minutes left. Oof. It's going to be tough.
It'll be really heartbreaking if St. Cloud isn't able to win it, but it's such a credit to Bemidji that they are just so damn tournament tested. Like they are so, and honestly, they just continue to do it year after year, like different circumstances, different players. Ambitious. 90 seconds.
It's gonna start to get
It's just so many of these programs are just so easy to root for too. It's like a bunch of random state schools, like all of Minnesota's D2s. It's like a bunch of rural like state schools plus Concordia. You know, it's just such a it's so easy to root for.
Oh my gosh. That was a great ball from the center up back from the fence.
You know what game this reminds me of? This is like the flip side of St. Cloud's game against UMD, where St. Cloud scored first and then UMD looked so good. Bemidji scored first in this, and St. Cloud has looked good.
Yeah.
It's just Bemidji has done a good job to weather it.
Yeah, they're still though, like, yeah.
We're not drinking it, but shout out to Modist. They got good THC stuff. Their place is right near the Target Center. So like if you're going to go to a Wolves game or something in the winter, go to Modist first and grab a beer. Tell them you came because of us. They'll be confused and surprised. 30 seconds. Looks like Bemidji's going to manage this one out. So they will play Sunday at 1 is what the schedule says. We'll see if that holds.
Congrats, St. Cloud, man. Winning the title, making it to the tournament the first time, setting big standards. And thanks for being they're really great to us when we went and called the games too.
And yeah, congrats to Bemidji and St. Cloud, a literal historic year for St. Cloud all around.
Bummer, like the Bemidji players are running to each other and then like the St. Cloud players have to run through them. I hate that. It's like they should be able to just be separate now.
Heartbreaking. Honestly, everyone who joined, a ton of folks watched. Thanks so much for joining. This is super fun for us to do, and clearly you all at least somewhat enjoyed it, so appreciate it. Here's what we'll say. I don't know that we'll do this for every NCAA game, but if 2 Minnesota teams meet in the Central Championship, I'm sure we'll try and find a way to do it because it's just too fun. Thanks so much for all your support, and congrats to Bemidji. Congrats to St. Cloud for a good one. Mankato plays at 3. Bemidji plays on Sunday.
See you guys at the bar.